So measuring electricity, a multimeter is a central troubleshooting tool for a computer professional. I mean, it used to be, we used to need it. I mean, it's still good to have, it's still good to understand and know how to use, because you can check your wall outlets with it and make sure they're not miswired. A lot of the UPSs will complain if the outlets are miswired. About half the time you move into a house or people move into an office, the wiring is miswired. It's very common to find. And a multimeter will tell you this. It's not that this stuff won't work, it just won't work as optimally as it's designed to work. A multimeter measures several aspects of electricity. It can measure several aspects of electricity. It depends on what kind you buy. So you can measure AC voltage, DC voltage. Most of them will do AC voltage and AC current, but not all of them do AC voltage and DC voltage. You have to look on the meter. They'll also measure continuity. Are the two wires touching? And then they'll also tell you the resistance. A multimeter consists of two probes, a multi-position switch to select the type of test, and that's pretty much it. Failure to properly test AC outlets can damage or destroy equipment. The failure to test it is not going to damage the equipment. The fact that it's hooked up wrong will damage the equipment, not that you failed to test it. Also on the back of the power supplies, remember I told you that most of them auto switch now? But we used to have to physically switch them between 220 and 110. So if you're bringing computers or you have a customer that just came over from Europe, make sure you check the backs of the computers and make sure they're not set for 220. When testing an AC power source, check these three things. Is the hot wire, the little slot on the wall, sending the correct voltage, and is it wired in to the correct pin? Are they backwards? And is it 220 or 110? It should be 110. Is the neutral wire connected to the ground and to the correct pin? So you need to check that too. Is the ground wire connected to the ground or to the correct pin? So you want them all wired correctly. So setting up a multimeter, you attach the black test lead, which is the negative, to the negative marked hole. And then attach the red test lead to the volts positive hole. And then set the selector switch to AC volts, so for your wall outlet. And then hot to neutral. I don't recommend, if you don't know how to do this and you've never done this, do not try to do this from this presentation. This is inadequate for you to understand how to do that properly, and it's very dangerous if you do this incorrectly and if you have the meter set incorrectly. Maybe we'll set up a lab and I'll show you how to do this in a YouTube video so that you can see how to properly do it with the correct type of meter. I have a few different ones we can kind of demonstrate that. So again, this lecture is not adequate enough for you to understand how to use a multimeter, okay? So hot to neutral, place one lead in the hot and the other in the neutral. The reading should be between 110 and 120 volts. So the voltage across the hot to neutral should be between 110 and 120. Hot to ground, place one lead in the hot and the other in the ground. That's the little round hole at the bottom, and it should be between 110 and 120. Same thing, right? Neutral to ground, place one lead in the neutral and the other in the ground. The reading should be 0 volts. Using the AC testers. AC testers are small devices made especially for testing outlets. Inserting the tester into the outlets tests all voltages at once. Although not as accurate as a multimeter, an AC tester is more convenient. It's not accurate because it tells you that there's the presence of voltage, but it doesn't tell you what the voltage is. That's what they're driving at here. It might be only 96 volts and they'll still light up the tester, but you would see it on the multimeter that it's not right. And if it's at 96 volts, you got a serious problem in the panel, right? That should not be. But it provides a pass or fail indication rather than an accurate voltage reading. And most of the time, if you have voltage present, it's going to be within the tolerance or range. If not, there's probably something else. The place is about to burn down. So these things look like little things that you would stick in the outlet, and they have lights on the outside. They're very cheap, awesome. Highly recommend you getting one.